What is going on, guys? So today I am wrenching on the daily. It's not some wrenching that I really wanted to do, but she left me stranded on the side of the road after 2 years of running reliably. So I guess I can't complain too much. But today, after my diagnostics, I'm assuming that it is the fuel pump. So that is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be going into the back seats, taking them out, and swapping out a new fuel pump. This is a 2000 Honda Civic LX. It's the 1.6 liter single cam non-VTEC. So first things first is you have a 10 mil bolt right in between the cushions inside there, just one from what I could tell. There it is, right in between the cushions in the back, and I believe that's the only one. Bada bing. And now to take the seats out, I'm literally just prying at it with my hand back and forth, just getting it loose. And you can see that's where this little clipper bracket is staying into the floor. So basically this needs to be pushed back a little bit to pull it up. So I'm just gonna reach here just to give it a little bit more leverage, and we should have them right out. So you just push the little seatbelt clips in through there, through the holes, pop it back this way. Could even pull the clips out if you want, but I'm probably just gonna keep it hanging just like that if it stays, which it does. You're also gonna want to disconnect your battery during this process. And wow, this is an old car, but it is filthy in here. So this gives me a good time to vacuum all of this stuff out. This is just the daily beater, but that is pretty nasty. So I'm gonna vacuum that out. And this is access to our fuel pump right here. Of course, you gotta take a little Phillips head and get this cover out. Once you have all your Phillips heads out, you're just going to want to put the cover out to the side. And once the cover is off to the side, you have this little rubber booty, which we're going to start with first. Just pull this back a little bit so you could access the clip. And we're going to press gently on the clip to take it out. Just make sure you don't break that in the process. So we're pushing on this tab right here. Got that in. And then pull the tab right out. Now we are removing our fuel supply line. So you're just going to want to press down on this tab right here and pull it back. That's how you disconnect it. You're going to have some fuel coming out, of course, so just be aware of that. There she goes. And next we're going to be working on our return line right here. So you're going to want some pliers for that to get that clip off of there and then pull the line straight back. Bada bang. Return line, supply line, both are out. Now that both lines are disconnected, the plug is disconnected. You have 6 retaining nuts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is also a 10 mil, and we're gonna be popping those suckers out right now. And as you're taking your fuel pump out, as you guys see, there's a filter right at the bottom that is approaching, about to be out. You just want to make sure you drain all of that, of course, out of the filter before you remove it from your car. And just by looking at my filter right now, definitely looks a little dirty. So hopefully this will be the solution to fixing the daily, because other than that, this car has been treating me great. I'm just going to cover up this hole right here so no dirt or debris gets in there, as well as any fumes escaping and whatnot. We have our old fuel pump and our new one side by side, just to make sure that before we take this apart, this is indeed the right one, which it is. Everything looks like it matches up. So the first step is to remove your ground wire once you get the pump out, and unfortunately I snapped that little screw as I was taking it out, so I'm gonna have to drill it out and get something else. But after you do that, you're going to want to pull this plug out, so just press down on that tab and simply just push up and it'll pop out. Now that we have access to our hose clamp, we're going to take the top one and just push it up a little bit so we could slide this down. We are simply going to take our pump and we are going to twist it. Simply twist it until that little tab bracket is right in line with the opening. Now that the pump is freed, You're just going to want to disconnect the hose from this inlet right here. I might go back to the parts store and get a new filter, but for now we're going to be taking this filter off of our old pump because we don't have the new one with us. And basically this is pretty easy. Honestly, all you got to do is just work it a little bit back and forth and it'll pop right out like so. And there's going to be a little snap ring that you do not want to lose, so just keep that handy. Alrighty, so a few steps forward, I ended up grabbing a new fuel pump strainer and attached her on there. And once you throw your fuel pump strainer, there is a little clip which is underneath this little gasket right here. So this is the little clip I'm talking about, which goes over that little tab on your fuel pump strainer. Basically, that just helps you keep the strainer in place without it moving or without it coming undone. So after you get that on, as you just saw, you put the gasket right on over. If you're using the original gasket, one like this, you actually have to put the gasket on first because obviously it's not going to go on like that. But in the fuel pump kit that I got, it came with this gasket, which allows you to put it on after. Just slides right in like that. So that's what I'm going to do, and then put it back in there and get my ground back on, and it is ready for install. Now everything is back together. We got our plug back in. We got our ground all situated. We have our hose clamps back on, and everything is all assembled, including the strainer. So now we're going to throw her right back in the car, and hopefully that solves our problem. We just slid the pump back in, got it lined up with our studs. Now we're going to take our retaining nuts, put them back on, connect our hose lines, our supply line, and our return line. And then after that, we're going to prime our system, turn the car on, and make sure everything goes good. When tightening down the retaining nuts, you don't really want to go too hard. I usually just go a little bit over snug. Just want to make sure that gasket is seated well. We're going to take our return line first, squeeze her on there. Now that the hose is all the way at the end, take our clamp back and set her on down. We're going to be taking our supply line and just snapping that right back on there. She's in place, nice and snug. Now we're going to take our plug. Boom, she's in there. Now we're going to take our rubber booty and throw it right back on over. Like so. And now everything is assembled back together. We're just going to take our cover, put the cover back on, and we should be good to go. Voila, cover's back on. Let's connect our battery back up and see what we got. Starts right up just like a charm, boys. As you guys could probably hear, there's an exhaust leak that I have to do next. I just put in some new spring bolts because I thought it was that connection from the downpipe to the cat that was leaking, and apparently not. I'm going to shut this off real quick. I'm not going anywhere. But basically, I already took this car for a drive after I installed the fuel pump. This is a couple days after the fact. Just wanted to show you guys the startup and that everything's going well. But anyways, I'm not entirely sure that the fuel pump was the issue. Reason being is because my car actually shot a code not too long after I installed it. And that code's not for the fuel pump. Fuel pump is in good. Everything is correct. The code is actually for my cat. So I'm thinking that the exhaust leak has been prolonged so long that it's been dumping a good amount of fuel, and I'm hoping my injectors are all right, but I believe that my cat is pretty clogged up right now. I might just full send it and put a full exhaust in this thing and just have a little rice bucket. But I also just might get a cat. Only thing is they're pretty expensive. Even the eBay ones are relatively expensive, like a couple $100. Anyways, anyone who may have needed help installing a fuel pump in your 1.6 liter Civic, I hope this was helpful for you. It's really not a hard job. It's pretty straightforward. And I hope I walked through it enough for you guys so you were confident to do that on your own. If you have any questions, leave them down below or reach out to me on Instagram at thatwhitefd2, where I post a whole lot of content on the FD over there. So be sure to check the page out. If you guys want to see more content on the EK and on the FD, which, believe it or not, is right there. Boom. She's in the little garage right now. She's usually in the shop. But stay tuned for a video or many videos on that car, because that car is the channel. And that car is going to be getting way more exposure now that I actually have her. There's just been a lot going on with that car, honestly. And I just did a huge part haul. Well, not huge, but I got a good amount of parts that I am beyond excited to throw on that car and excited to show you guys. So stay tuned for the FD. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, especially if this was helpful for you. As always, thank you all for tuning in. Peace out, fam.